Hi, I'm Carolyn from letstalkprayer.com. Each of these videos on prayer will contain a teaching component, and then there'll be time for you to put into practice what you've just learned. You'll be able to download all the resources you need for free from my website, www.letstalkprayer.com. So please make sure that before you start any of the videos, you have downloaded the corresponding resources. This video is part 2 in the series of how to improve your prayer life, where we're looking at the subjects of talking to God and then listening to God talk to us. Today we are continuing with the topic of talking to God, building on from what we learnt last time on why do you pray. So today we'll be looking at where do you go to be alone with God, helping you find your rhythm of praying and helping you discover your style of praying. So let's start with where do you pray?
Can you hear me now? Good. Can you hear me now? Good. Can you hear me now? Good. Can you hear me now? Good.
Unlimited, anytime, anywhere minutes. Prayer, the power to connect. Powered by God.
Can you hear me now? Good.
So that's just a silly little clip showing that we can pray to God absolutely anywhere and God will hear us. But let's look now at how to get to that next level of intimacy with God. Andrew Murray, in his classic book on prayer, written over 100 years ago, called With Christ in the School of Prayer, teaches us that Jesus wants each one of us to choose for ourselves a special spot where we can meet with him daily. Now that spot can be anywhere, but that secret place must be somewhere with quiet time with our Father. Matthew 6 verse 6 tells us, "But when you pray, go away by yourself, shut the door behind you and pray to your Father in private. Then your Father, who sees everything, will reward you." Where is your special place where you go to be alone with God? The next thing you need to do is to find your rhythm of when it works for you to pray. Now for me, that's early in the morning. I like to get up 45 minutes before the rest of the household and have my coffee with God in the quiet, in my quiet place. Now my husband Ian, he's the complete opposite of that, and he prefers to pray late at night once everyone else has gone to bed, again when the house is quiet. And it doesn't matter when it is, just find the rhythm that works for you. But just remember 3 things. The first, if it's not working, change it. If you're doing it last thing at night and you're falling asleep in the middle of it, it's time to change it. And if you've got small children who are waking up at 5 a.m. every day, you're not going to last many days setting the alarm for 4:15 in the morning to have that quiet time with God. So please be sensible to the stage of life you're at, because God, he completely understands. Secondly, remember, it takes 21 days for something to become a habit. That's scientifically proven. And if you don't believe me, well, you can check that fact on Facebook. I find that for me, when trying to start a new habit, it works to write the next 21 days all on a piece of paper or on my phone, and a bit like a sticker chart for the kids, I tick off when I've done it. If I miss a day at day 15, I have to start right from the beginning of the day, 21 days again, for it to become a habit. And the third thing is to have someone hold you accountable. You can always manage to justify something to yourself, but you can't fool those that you've asked to hold you accountable. This is a very powerful tool. And let's look at this in the next slide. The likelihood of success is 25% if you make a decision to do something, 40% if you decide when this will happen, 50% if you develop a plan to make this happen, 65% if you tell someone about the plan and the decision. But the likelihood of success is 95% if you make yourself accountable to someone. Very powerful. The next thing you need to do to improve your prayer life is to find your style of talking to God. Now, God, He's made us all unique. And as part of that uniqueness, there's many different styles of talking to God in a way that you might get that others may not at all. And I'll just give you a few examples of what I'm talking about here, because there's many different styles. The first is in nature. I love walking along the beach, talking with God, or riding my bike through the park. For you, it could be bushwalking or surfing, fishing, quietly engaging in God's presence in nature in a way that suits you best. You don't have to be sitting still in order to pray. It could be reading His Word. You may not know what to say to God, so you can pray through one of the Psalms, because the majority of Psalms are actually prayers. It could be with singing worship songs. We so often think that physically talking to God is our only way to pray. But God may have made you in such a way that you sing worship songs to Him as your prayer. Your style may be just talking to Him as you go about your daily routine. Again, another one that I love. I just love chatting to God as I drive along, as I do the housework, as I'm in the shower. As we heard last time, God just longs to hear from us. It doesn't matter how. It may be for you through journaling, where you write out your prayers, your thoughts, and your questions to God. Or it could be through guided Christian meditation, where you follow someone's voice as they guide you to meditate on God's Word. If you haven't tried guided Christian meditation and you want to give it a go, there's two great free Christian resources that I use. And the first is a YouTube channel called The Mindful Christian. And the second is a free app on your phone called Abide. I highly recommend both of those. There's no right or wrong style. You just need to find yours, and you may use multiple styles. Just remember, what works for you won't necessarily work for others. For example, I love doing some guided Christian meditations, but my husband Ian, he literally comes out in a rash if I try to make him do that with me. That's how stressed it makes him. So now there's time for you to work through the handout and answer those questions of where do you go to be alone with God, and to help you find your rhythm of praying and helping you discover your style of praying. This download is an editable PDF, so you can fill it out on your computer without having to print it out if you don't have access to a printer. And if you can't download it, you can just pause the video here and answer the questions that will be on the screen. Thank you for joining me in this series on how to improve your prayer life. And I look forward to sharing with you the next part, where we'll look at listening to God talk to us. Thank you.